our last video, we took you to Glenfinnan, the viaduct, also known as the Harry Potter train bridge.
Yeah, and we took you to Glen Cove, to the Three Sisters, and an epic hike through the park.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful episode. If you missed it, you're going to want to go back and catch it. But since then, we have parted ways with our friends that came to visit us from the United States. They're working their way back to Edinburgh to fly home, and we have continued on. We had about a 3-hour drive through some beautiful mountains. Unexpected how pretty that drive was going to be. Quite a bit of elevation and curves.
Along some beautiful lochs, which I don't know if you guys would know what lochs are. They're lakes.
Lakes, yes. Lots of lakes where we just drove through, and the leaves are starting to change. Stunning views. Saw some deer way in the distance, too far out to give you guys a look at them, but just getting more and more out into the nature, which of course makes us very happy. Now we just crossed the Skye Bridge to take us to a very famous place here in Scotland. In this episode, we'll be starting our adventures on the Isle of Skye. So we're going to try to find a campsite first thing because we've been driving quite a bit today and we're wore out. But Kurt has a super exciting adventure in the morning.
The most epic hike on the island.
Yeah, and don't worry, there's lots of stuff for me to get into here. First up, campsite on the Isle of Skye.
Those beautiful mountains up in front of us, and we are getting a first glance at my hike tomorrow. If you can see those jaggedy peaks that just shoot right up out of the water, I'm going up there, guys, and I am pumped. Early start tomorrow morning, but right now check out this lake. We got this big old boat coming across here.
Every time we go to a new country, or even just to a new place within a country, we learn new stuff. One thing we have already learned about the Isle of Skye here in Scotland is that the sheep are way outnumbering the humans. In fact, they say there are 10 sheep for every one resident on the Isle of Skye. And so far, I think we've seen like half of them. They're everywhere.
Turn left onto Bank Street, A855.
I think if it's yellow, it's a skirt.
No, they're very colorful. It's not a skirt. It's not a skirt. This car in front of us is not a very good driver.
So Snow found us this sweet little spot. We're kind of snugged in here. Back in the corner, the town of Portree is back there behind the van into the sun. And you can see this beautiful seaport right here. Lots of big boats out there. Looks like some of them are fishing, some of them are sailing, and some of them maybe just general sport or work boats. But also there's a little trail down here that runs along sort of the edge of the water and has some really pretty views of the cliffs and the seashore on the other side. And so me and G are just gonna take a little walk along here. That boy was chattering us after that ride, that curvy ride here. But he's in good shape now that he's outdoors. I thought today would be a good opportunity while I'm walking the cats to actually talk a little bit about the cats and how they travel with us and all that. To be honest with you, we really don't talk about it a lot. And if you don't watch all our videos, you may have missed it. But G-Money is a Bengal. And G-Money he's almost 15 years old. And he has been my buddy for all that time. We have been walking together and chasing lizards in Florida, and well, he's been in I think 32 countries in three continents, and he's a spoiled kitty. Let me tell you, we chase food all over the world for this boy. He has a very finicky palate, And fortunately, we've been able to find him really good food the whole entire way. But sometimes, all of a sudden, we're feeding him one kind of food, and he decides he doesn't like that anymore. And oh, by the way, if he's not getting what he wants, he will let you know. And he has way more patience than we do. So, he's the king of the van. He loves getting outside, and I love taking him outside. Sometimes we'll go out and walk for, well, a couple hours, and today's a nice long walk. And he loves to hunt things and smell, and he loves to surround his kingdom and make sure he marks it and knows what else is around there. And yeah, he's the king. But we also have the princess, and that's Vanna. And Vanna is almost 6 years old. I guess she'll forever be our baby. But Vanna is, she's you guys know, she's our little dash kitty, and she loves to ride up there on the slow, bumpy roads. She hates noises, so big semi-trucks and buses, and really, for that matter, the noise of cars. And maybe that's because she's used to the muffled sound of them in the van, and when she gets out, not sure. She just doesn't like the noises, but she loves the quiet nature. And whether we're parked in the van with the slider door open, looking out the screen at birds and squirrels and dogs and people and whatever else is out there in the world, she also loves to get out in the nature. And she loves to smell on the grass, and she loves to chase grasshoppers. And it turns out she's a little Burman, and she is the absolute queen of the van. And for her size, she's pretty small. Now, she's fluffy, which makes her look a lot bigger than she really is. But she backs down at nothing, including G. And every once in a while, like brother and sister, they have their moment. But if a dog comes around, or for that matter, another cat to the screen door, Vanna is our guard kitty, and she will go crazy. So she likes walks as well. Sometimes she likes just sitting out in the sun and enjoying being out in the sounds. She absolutely loves birds, and a lot of birds come and see our cats. And when G's out walking, they'll come see him. And if Van is on the dash or something, they'll come see her and tap on the mirrors or on the windows. And so she's had a fun time with all that. But anyway, Vanna and G are doing very well in the van. They get lots of walks, lots of love, and high quality food. We're always chasing high quality kitty litter for them. And well, they basically rule the van. Woohoo! Up and going early. Good morning. The reason we had to get up so early is because there's limited RV parking, and this place is supposed to be pretty crowded. And even though we got up here pretty early, you can see there's a line of vans along the road, and I'm sure this will fill up today. And while we rolled in here at about 6 a.m. And so it's pay for park even down here by the road. They have a bigger car park for cars up there, but the vans and the campers and things like that park down here. It's £7 for 12 hours. And look at these views. We got a beautiful lake out there. The sun's popping up. The hike's up above us on the left. Now, there's a couple phases to this hike. The first one is to what's called the Old Man of Storr, which is sort of some rock spires that shoot up. And so I'm excited to get up there. It's sort of a playground, if you will, of cool rock formations. And then the second piece, I believe, goes up on top of that ridge that we're staring at right there. So like most hikes, we don't know what we're gonna get till we get there. And the only way to get there is let's get going. So let's go. As we've driven through this landscape here in Scotland, especially as we've kind of approached out here to the Isle of Storr, it's been really a lot of grasslands. Kind of reminds me of the steppes down in Argentina where a lot of trees don't really grow and you get this short underbrush of a growth. But it's a beautiful morning. The weather's probably about 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and the sky is blue. And right now we don't have a cloud in the sky, which is another reason I wanted to race up here this morning and get this hike done. And look at this beautiful lake. It is so incredibly reflective. Wow, and you can see the colors there. Absolutely stunning. Look at that, guys. And if you guys can see in front of me, all these tree stumps. Now, as we were on the drive up through here, it's no doubt we came through the United Kingdom's and Scotland's largest timber producing region. And we saw vast fields, acres and miles of these tree stumps. Now, to be fair, I don't know what kind of trees these were and what the reason they were all cut down. But there is a lot of forestry efforts going on back that we drove through. And you could see in some cases where they were replanting them with pine. Now, the pines are not necessarily native trees. And as we learned back from the visitor center in Glencoe, that the problem with this forestry is that the pine trees are non-native monocultures. And so, meaning you don't get the biodiversity and the wildlife can't thrive like it would in native plant forests. And so I always love to see efforts where they're at least planting trees back. But we've seen this all over the world. And as we learn more about the planet, I'd love to see some native trees here as we climb up through this. And there you go. Our first good look at that spire or store. And there's a couple stories that came with those legends, lore, if you will. But one is that a giant was walking along and he fell down and died. And well, the mountains and the earth covered him, and that's his thumb sticking up right there. So, a big giant's thumb. All right, now that I've shared with you a little bit of lore, let's get some geology behind this. So this is the Trotternish Ridge. And like a lot of Skye, it was formed from lava flows that erupted from fissures, they say, 60 million years ago. And this happened, these lava spews and this boiling up, this formation lasted for 1.6 million years is what they say. And so I guess most of this sequence can be seen in the cliffs from a geology standpoint. At one point in time, the whole entire thing was covered with glaciers. And as they melted and receded, what you see is what we're left with. So, little geology there. Little geology bomb drop on you. Okay, so right here you can see the layer of lava that erupted 60 million years ago. And so they're doing some kind of dating on that type of stuff. And then some of these younger ridges right here. But here's the Old Man of Storr sticking up and the Needle Rock. What would a hike in Scotland be without sheep? And there's only a couple here that I see. One's over there sitting down, see if you can see him. And the other one's over on the side, kind of grazing on the mountain. Nice thing is here, they don't even have to bend over to eat. Just turn your head and the grass is right there. But this is kind of a little windy troll trail. And there's some sheep butts right there, if you can see them to the left of the big giant's thumb. Woo! And then down below, I've circled over those sheep that I showed you just a few moments ago. Look at that. Show you how steep it is. I like boulders. And what's really cool is you come up through here, it's kind of a boulder garden. See, you get the bright green grass. And you've got all the rocks, and You know, the Old Man of Storr is kind of the star of the show, but there's all sorts of little pinnacles jutting up here. Now I'm taking another little detour, and you can see how steep this is. And people have gone up it, but it's a slide up there. We're gonna get to the top of this rock. I'm not gonna film it because I need all hands on deck. It's just so you guys can see I made it. But there's a little windy trail that I came up, and then I scampered up that little, and you can't see it because of the shade, but that loose dirt little area, and then on up here. But look at this, guys. I'm on top of the world. Look at that. On top of the world. What an incredible display of boulders and rocks. Man, I could just sit up here. This is the kind of place you just sit and relax. The sun's coming up. It's just a bit cool. It's like the perfect weather. Blue skies. But I'm still early in the hike, guys. I still have to kind of go up and around and play in these rocks and all that stuff. But first I gotta get down this steep rock slide. So we'll see how that goes. I'm headed down this mess, but just so you guys know, it looks a lot spookier the way down than the way up. But we got up, so we got to get down. We got no choice. So we're going to take our time. We might even try to boot scoot down that little dirt slide there. We'll see when I get there. But first, I got to kind of scamper down these little rocks. And as you can see, it's pretty low down there. All right. The good news is I was able to film that a little bit. Well, maybe I shouldn't get too cocky because I'm not down yet. But coming down was definitely easier than going up. And I'm always telling you guys, I'm a natural downhiller. And that was definitely true on that little downhill. That was fun. Just a little slide there. And yeah, it was cool. We're gonna climb up these stairs and go around this old star and check out the rest of some of these formations and just have a good time. I just met these cool people. What are your names again?
Jason. Natalia.
Jason and Talia. They're from Tampa. And Orlando. We'll see you guys. Yeah. So we met them on the hike, and it turns out they left the same day from Tampa that Kat and Ashley were scheduled to leave Orlando, and their flight obviously got all messed up. They made the last flight out of Tampa before the hurricane, and they've been touring around. So it's always nice to meet fellow travelers and or vacationers. But I'm kind of up on the base of this big giant thumb, and the more you get up here, it does look more like a thumb. It really does. But there's trails all around here, so I don't know which one is the official trail to take. So I guess we just scamper around at the base of this thing. Look at it. So right over there, that dark material, that's what they're saying. I think they said 60 billion years old. And as you come back here, down here, we're shaded by the big rocks. And it just gets probably about 15 to 20 degrees cooler through here. But you can see where more boulders have just tumbled off. And so it's really cool because you just get to play in the boulders. And look at that. What an incredibly beautiful place. So this right here is the second prominent spire. And as I told you at the start of this hike, there's some legend and lore about this place. There's a couple different stories, legends and lores, if you will, about these peaks. And of course, I already told you about the giant's thumb, but there also is a story that an old man and a woman years and years and years ago climbed up here, and the wife, she couldn't make it, and so they decided to sit right here and the fairies turned them both into stone. And so you'll hear as we move through the Isle of Skye that giants and fairies are definitely a part of their legend and their lore. And as we leave the peaks behind, there is a viewpoint up here where everyone is heading to, and you can see it right up there. Now from this side, you're shooting into the light, and so the mountains are a little shadowed. So kind of from where I showed you earlier on, the reason I kind of hiked this backwards was because I could see the light was better from that angle. But this also gives you a really cool shadowed, unique look, and well, it's pretty epic too. So, all right, we're almost up to the viewpoint, guys. There's a few more stairs to go. I'd say that qualifies as pretty epic, guys. What do you think? All right, 90% of the people, not more. I haven't seen anybody go this way, but everybody goes to that little observation point and then turns around and goes back. But that little fence I just stepped over right there wraps around this mountain and goes up on this cliff. Now, I don't know how far I'm gonna go up here, to be honest with you. Now that I've seen what it looks down the coast, I'm excited to get down there, and I want to save some energy for that for sure. And there's a lot of really, really cool things out here on the Isle of Skye that we're going to go see. So I didn't want to blow it my first day here, but you guys know me. I'm not a one bite of the cookie guy. I like to have the whole thing. So I'm going to go get some more of these stunning views. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but right over there on that steep, steep slope, there's sheep over there grazing. And I just watched one of them come up and kind of headbutt the other one in the booty to push him out of their grass patch. They aren't nervous about this at all. And of course, the trail ends in a climb up the rocks. So let me get up this bit, steep fall behind us, and we should be on top. It looks a lot different up here than I thought it would. I thought this would come up and be more like a flat plateau. But instead, you see, it's just some peaks sticking up, and then on the other side, there's a bowl, and the bowl drains right down here. So, little cliff face, little stream down below. Wow, you never know what you're gonna get as we get up here. The size and the scale just keeps changing. They just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But look at this, guys. We are up here. That right there is how you avoid the crowds and get the shot. Look at that, guys. And there's nobody up here. And there's a line down below. There's the observation deck over there. This is the start of the cliff face. It just keeps pushing on, pushing on, pushing on, so really I can go up as far as I like. But I think right here I'm gonna pop the drone and take a look at it from the sky, take you with me, and head on back down. This has been a good one, guys. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That is epic. What a beautiful way to spend the morning. And I gotta tell you guys, it was definitely worth getting up early to get out here. I think would have been all right for the parking. We are on shoulder season, so in typical Snow and Curt fashion, we're kind of rolling in behind the peak season and all the tourists. That's kind of how we play it. And we just left the Old Man of Storr, and Snow got a huge surprise. I was back early for once.
Yeah, he's never back early. I was like, what are you doing home? He was like way early.
So we hop back on the road. We're not sure where we're going. We kind of are looking for a wild camp spot, and or there's a couple other cool little points of interest we want to see along the way. And so we're just going to take you with us, guys, and figure it out as we go. That's how we do. Oh, and I told you guys we were going to stop off and see some sights along this route. And we just came around the corner, and there are some beautiful cliffs right here.
We took about 100-yard, a little over 100-meter walk from our parking space down a little path out here to the shoreline. It's really pretty. We passed a waterfall, but I don't think we can quite get a glimpse of it. We'll see on the way back. But it's some really unique cliff edges here. And down here on this beach in front of us, they used to bring something called, I think it's diatomite or something like that, that they were mining about 4 miles inland from here. And they would bring it down here to wash it and get it all dried up. It was like a white chalky material. And they would bag it up and get it ready for sale. And this was a booming little business area through here at that time until about the 1950s. And that is when it just became too expensive, I guess probably labor-wise, to get it all down here. And that business in this area of the world kind of died down. But just a neat little factoid about this northeast corner of the Isle of Skye. It's really pretty here. But Kilt Rock is close to an area, I believe it's called Saffron, a little city on the coast here. And that name comes from the Viking word saffron, that means columns of rock or rock columns. And that's because that's what Kilt Rock is. A bunch of the volcanic columns similar to the Giant's Causeway over in Ireland or Northern Ireland. But we took in the views. We saw the waterfall that dumps straight into the coast. This is also an area where you can see dolphin and sometimes whales. I don't think it's the right season for whales right now, but there were some dolphin out in the middle there. There's no way we could have got them on the camera. But a nice little easy stop off for us, which is what I needed today. So it is time for us to go and find our campsite for the night. So let's get to it, guys.
It's pretty beach. Look at that wave coming in there. I love the color of the stone up here. It's that dark brown, almost rusty. Alright, we have turned kind of off of the main loop, if you will, and there's another epic hike spot up here. And at that parking lot, we think we can find camping for overnight. But I gotta tell you, it is a stunning drive up through here, isn't it, Snow?
It is, but it is a skinny road. It is a single track full of travelers and tourists and locals. So I'm focusing and Kurt's getting to see.
Yeah, and you guys can see there's a bus and a van coming right here, so we're waiting for that. And up in front of us, up on top, we can see a viewpoint. So hopefully the parking for the night works out and all will be well. We'll see.
Everybody coming down
And Snow is navigating this single track, and there has been a lot of traffic coming out of here, believe it or not.
Anything coming?
And there's nothing coming right now, so we look like we're okay. But we're up here on some switchbacks. There's the 1X car, so you can get all the way up by that yellow bin, I think.
Yeah. All right, we have rolled into our campsite for the night. This is a trailhead parking lot for a pretty big hike out here on the Isle of Skye. But for now, it's home. We're parked right there. We've got the doors open for the kitties. Sun's getting ready to set. Got some beautiful views. We are sitting right on the road, but when the sun starts to set, there won't be any traffic on this road. So it'll be good to go. Now, when you're trying to find a place to park, you always want to try to find something as level as you can. We did pretty good here, but I think we're going to need one block in that back wheel. So that's what Kurt's getting set up now. I'll drive us up on it. I think we'll be pretty level and call it a night. Right, Kurt?
So, good.
All right, guys. This is where we're going to wind this video down. And we will see you guys in a few days from somewhere else here in Scotland. Cheers. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys.